Hello. Wasn't quite the time that I had in mind, but Friday, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Not sure how long we're going to take on this. I don't think we're going to get it all done in one night. I think I could even get it all done in one night. Let's start hammering away at some stuff. Try to get a bit better. See if we can't learn a few things. See if we can't improve a few things. Watching your replays is just overpowered to pretty much any game, man. I was doing it in other games and maybe realize, like, speed GAC has some benefits, but one downside is, I mean, sometimes we VOD review after, but I'm never actively just like sitting down to VOD review unless I'm actively checking something, right? So I figure I'm not playing two accounts. That's just insanity. But we could take the in between days to work on some improvement. Still hammering out the details on what times I want to do things at. I was thinking we maybe could do either do certain days at certain times based on what just makes sense for weekdays, weekends, or maybe try to preserve the old time stuff for the in-betweens, or I don't know. I'm not going to do anything. I'm still figuring everything out. Everything is being moved around at the moment, so in or out. We'll just see where the dice land. But hopefully it will make a lot more sense. Lead to a better overall experience. More content. Alright. What the fuck? Where is that even coming from? Alright. Some tab just went rogue. Fucking awesome. Alright, fucking got him. Lovely. That was a good jump scare. Alright. I imagine I'll probably just, what the fuck? 2x speed this. There's at least one thing we need to start off looking for, but past that we shall see. Well, no, there's a lot of stuff I need to look for today. What I'm more curious on is how much stuff is going to be to talk about down the road once we started hammering things out a lot, but questions for them. Alright, this match has been in flux a lot lately. Like, to an absurd degree. I'm spot checking for one thing specifically, but for those who don't know, we are looking at integrating Revise into the core game plan. It's the sort of thing that traditionally I would have said, like, you don't really need to do it. But Sorty Kron, like, yeah, it's bringing the potency, but the crit avoid especially, I think, is really in conversation with your kill time. So, and especially as Relic Delta comes in, like, especially for Asajj, just like a Relic 5, Relic 6, Pro 7, or whatever. Her dying, Relic Delta is going to make that easier. Her staying at a damage value that you are happy about, you're going to be very interested in a technique like this to help preserve your game plan. Okay. So here's the first thing we had the idea about yesterday. So traditionally the way we always played this is auto basic until they get low, and then use second special to let them die without a revive. But technically speaking, that may not necessarily be required. And I think we probably do it around this point. So who gets revived on your basic with Tal's Elite is of course deterministic. It cannot repeat. So you alternate between Talzin or Asajj, which means, can I get better quality? YouTube. I guess not. We could try to line up the plague damage on the turn that revives Asajj. Not that hitting Talzin feels as bad as it once used to, but if we just want a shortcut straight to the good part, this is something we could go for. And we don't have to be necessarily as afraid of screwing up the Talzin side anymore, knowing what we know now. So, like yesterday here, I misplayed. If we are talking on this angle, right? Like, we're really trying to just... I don't know if that's... full screen is going to work. I assume not. But it kind of works. Like, really just staring at Bausch's... Like, see, this, I believe, is going to kill. And Marin's basic does Plague. So we can kind of juice it just by... Right, here, basic on Bausch, sure. Here, I would say we're 2 to 3 basics off. I think basic 1's on Chrysanthemum, if it's Talzin. Okay, it's Asajj. This basic should be Asajj call on Bausch. We need to flip our approach. And it's pretty much confirmed, right? Because the next basic... Yeah. So if we're trying to juice the odds, like, we already have the game sense for when it's going to happen just from trying to prevent it, and now we need to use that same sense to try to cause it to happen when we want. And obviously, like, you know, what the hell, maybe the percentage lines up that you're like, okay, this is correct, and both of them get resisted, and it just doesn't fall that way. I mean, sure. But this is at least, then you just fall back to the new default gameplay that we're working on, right? It's not like you lose for doing that. But this still just seems like a better thing to be doing. Huge time saver, takes you straight to the power spike. You could technically even do it twice if you really, really wanted, just to make your Asajj better. Because, I mean, you would be investing the same amount of time to do it twice that you were doing to do it once. If you get the shortcut. Give or take by a little bit. So yeah. That policy, I think, needs to change to start off with. What else? I think Asajj has to be crazy fast, but right now I think she's on, like, 0 speed mods. And any extra turns that she takes before Jabba gets 4 turns is extra stacks. This is also higher priority. This is really what it comes down to. If we're trying to keep the counter consistent, or as consistent as possible. I mean, this is why it made me nervous to begin with, but now that we've, you know, been through multiple years of practicing with this counter, we know what works and what doesn't. It's really just don't play with the possibility, or at least make damn sure that you're Talzin. I mean, Talzin is really the problematic one. Asajj we know is going to die, but if Asajj dies, she can still defend you from ult. It would really just be like, oh shit, Jabba rolled 5 deaths and my Asajj didn't get to die. Which actually ironically kind of plays back into Asajj speed. Could actually help you in that spot. Anything else? I mean, maybe potency? Kind of plays into damage and high... defense scenarios. Defense or defense bulk. And then there's the whole bit where like we could fish for revise at the very end if we really wanted to, just to try to get better banners. Which frankly, we're gonna be talking about banners a lot today. That maybe that is something we should be considering. I mean, getting back to like really good banners is always going to be a challenge, but like if this is a counter we want to continue to do as we climb ranks back up, yeah, these are the sort of things that we need to hammer out. So how much health steal does Asajj have? It doesn't look like she's healing all that much. Like, obviously the protection regen is quite good. And if we can get them revived, it might not be too hard to try to get some protection up. Like with this, it's like, okay, what if we know, like, Flarebeard was talking about the, like, if his health falls to the second T with, like, X amount of plague, he's guaranteed to die. What if we take that and combine that with fishing for double revive to get some banners back? Where it's like, okay, we know we have enough damage to kill at this point, so it doesn't matter if we start reviving here. I mean, again, you would have to be sure of, like, no... Like, literally, this video, right? The job was threatening ult, so, like, doing it here would literally just be game losing. Like, we could not do it here in this scenario today. Maybe that plays into this, though, right? Like, if you get the Asajj shortcut, Jabba's going to be a lower ult charge, so maybe you actually get away easier with fishing for banners at the end. And also, the more juiced your Asajj is damage-wise, the easier it's going to be to greed for banners at the end. Like, Talisman Mass is going to be an okay protection regenerator, but I really don't think it's going to, like, bring you back to full. Asajj heal, I remember what exactly it heals by, but I imagine is hopefully solid. I mean, 40% with potential 10 on top, but, like, probably the point we're doing it, he's, like, unless he happens to, like, just to get a turn and done protection up, he's probably not going to have any buffs, if any. Is there anything I'm forgetting? When any ally or enemy is defeated, all Nisus or allies gain 10% turn to recover 25% protection, and the cooldown of the endless wrath is reset. That actually does matter. God, I wish there was a way that Marin could deterministically revive Talzin. God, what does this even start to look like? Okay, what if we do the same process that we're doing at the beginning at the end? As long as Jabba can't recover, and we're sure of it. What if we just, like, get Jabba down to, like, 25% health and then start fishing for revives? Get Talzin back to 9 deaths. Get Asajj up. And then we possibly just try to get, like, Marin protection full, Asajj protection full, Talzin alive. That puts us, like, possibly back in at least 54, maybe 55 range. Hellsteel Necron might actually be very useful for Asajj. What's her base Hellsteel value? It's 55? I mean, I know she's stacking health, and ironically, the stacking health is working against her. That's crazy, though. The stacking health is working against her because it's making it harder to lifesteal back to full banners. I don't know if there's any way around that. In a weird way, I was almost gonna say, do we start modding 1000 for protection? But that almost sounds like playing with fire. You still want her to be quick to start. That bit is pretty crucial, I think. Because you could be like, oh, he doesn't have vault, but he was still just like 2 basics off, and then you hang yourself, potentially. Which honestly still plays back at potency as well, because it would help a lot if Asajj could heal block more consistently. And she's got 43% base. Wait, Asajj has pretty good potency, doesn't she? 43 base plus 50% on Talzin plus 30% on Omicron, I think. Wait, why does my Asajj get resisted so often? What the fuck? This woman has 123% potency base, and you mean to tell me that she's, like, whipping? Excuse me? Because if we can get that defense down, that would also potentially help a lot. Basically, what we're trying to wrestle with is... can this counter survive in a deficiency world? This is crazy. This is a lot more notes than I expected to get this matchup. This is the shit that I'm saying, man, right? Like, replay review... the shit's OPing. And tenacity on job is not that rare, but I still wouldn't think he would have that much of it. Isn't there, like, Kersan having a little bit to say on that matter? Hey, what's up, Wolfman? Appreciate the 40 months. Twitch Prime, man. What a world. What an invention. Just free money. It's in Kersan. I'm like 90% sure it's Kersan, GAC Omicron. Negative enemy potency. Yeah, but it's while he's active, minus 30% potency. This I'm talking like last woman standing. Asajj repeatedly trying to AoE and not hitting this shit. It would have to be like a Java with mods and Crown type scenario, right? Will it be a better banner off meta team than Night Sisters? I mean, fair question. I honestly don't know. I've only done Night Sisters, man. I mean, Jabba right now, maybe, but I know Sortikron's like trying to contest that. Let's see. We're planning for Gar. And Gar has protection regen issues that concern me. That sounds unbelievably fake. Bane not even averaging. Why is it sorting by banners, but it's like this is a 58, this is a 55? Huh? Would it be sorting banner average? Sorting by banner average? Like, should the Grey Brothers be up top? Hello? The amount of Jedi shit is kind of weird. I mean, it seems to be built on the back of Ezra, which we're not doing, but... I mean, Jackie out bonus turn, sure, I guess. Dude, why is it not sorting by banners? What is happening? I don't understand. Amidala, I guess? I mean, we could go back to Starkiller versus Rey. That's one topic we're going to talk about tonight, probably is Seer Starkiller. It might just be costing too much. The opportunity costs might be very favored towards breaking up Seer. Like, I think she puts us a really solid amount of pressure. I consider that team to basically just be another GL on defense, but... if we apply the 5v5 logic, even though it's less extreme, even if it just means pulling Tyrion Starkiller gets us, like, that's a possible 8-banner save, right? And our defense isn't too terribly compromised compared to where it's at right now. We still get to remain fairly heavy. When it is factored in somehow when you use arbor banners. Gotcha. That's all. Yeah, I mean, or Wampa, maybe just like a Wampa remod, but that's only for 1 more week, right? So niche, but potentially true for 3 battles consideration. Just try to hard tech Wampa against the Swordy Crown matchup. Honestly, people are doing pretty okay here, especially since we're probably in the Swordy Crown meta right now. I'd imagine, like... Can't imagine wrong. People at the top just don't know what they're doing. I lied. But I mean, Swordy Crown I would consider a difficulty spike, so seeing 40% on Enes versus Jabba. Cool to see. Shout out to the people. Daka, almost 10% lower. That checks out. I believe that. Amidala averaging 56. Fuck, that might just be it, huh? Problem is that Starkiller has issues that I'm not gonna say publicly for my own safety. Still, but I can't just like hard lean on them. I mean, is there any sort of out where you just try to like end a Seer versus Jabba fight with Star Destroyer if you were to go that route? I don't know. Let's keep moving. Holy shit, too much yapping. I hit the wrong button. Like, this matchup is just Starkiller food. We would be perfectly happy to Starkiller here. Jabba versus... Or QA versus Jabba. Now, do you open cooldown increase, or would you rather have them put the buffs out so then it all could immediately dispel them? Amidala having dispel sounds like higher value to me. God, I forgot about the dot skip. Good times. Shadow stopping a Qui-Gon that's in Sling Heat. I'll point it for the record. 150k damage on this basic. And he was gonna basic twice. Battle W1 for a special. 138k. Now she had lifeblood. But if you put a 30% damage increase on that, well, that's why he's the apprentice and Qui-Gon's the master. This might need to turn into just like a scenario. Ironically, I guess the stranger is possibly giving me a sell here, although there's questions of whether stranger will just rather be on defense in the future. In which case, maybe I'm back to square one in this conversation. That the Night Sister research that we're doing is useful anyway. I mean, this matchup... Is this ever anything other than a 55? Sorry, fucking 54 apparently. How is this a 54? What? How is this a 54? Hello? Here? 54? Sure, I can see it. IG-12 takes a turn. Is it just bugged that, like, IG-12 passive heal getting me back to full batters? That's clearly full health. That's, like, undeniably. Like, I had grace periods that looked like 5% health was missing. That still counted. This is, like, undeniably full. What the hell? Alright. I don't think there's any way to take it off of. The only way you could make it, like, try to make it a 57 is if you cut IG-12 for OG Bow, which is something I was considering last season, but just sounds extremely hard. Tripicron is just, like, inherently doomed. Ended up, what, a 53? Tripicron was excellent for what I did to do. Sorry, 52, not even. How was C... That might just be cooked. Maybe you could try to slow roll it. But you're basically at war against... Like, you would have to play C basics instead of ulting with your ult being that powerful. And you just have to try to... Because what? Every time the C spreads, I think you get, like, 5% protection back. So you just have to try to like slow roll for that, and Trippicron just ended the fight immediately. That's tough. I don't know if there's any way around that. Like, obviously, we just had no time left here, but like, I mean, what? So she has perfect defense, which is obviously not a great place. Like, you can't even fish for Ahsoka Shock until that wears off. Maybe see basic, go for shock, or like go for the one shot on Ezra into Link reset onto Huyang and just like slow roll, try to farm some protection back with no heal block on the fields. That might have been a viable line, actually. Just because you have Trippicron, like, insane AoE doesn't mean you have to just, like, hit that shit. But at the same time, with Ahsoka and ults, I forget the name of the mechanic, but forcing you to 1 damage is, like, kind of catastrophic for C and can get really annoying if it snowballs. Because every time you're like, okay, C, big AoE time, she's like, nope. Alright, C, big AoE time. Believe it or not, still no. This was, like, probably overambitious, although my mace might be not that good in 3v3. I mean, if it could, like... Okay, the opener was something I did want to see. It looked like they basically just, like, consumed all purge and then went twice in a row. Like, that shit was crazy. Where did that even come from, Ergo? Or was it just a counterattack into her move that... No! It was. What the fuck was that? I know it wasn't crazy. The Night Sister used her special, which gave a little bit of patience, like Reva's. It gave it the amount of patience team that you would expect. Reva just says, no, I'm taking him down. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, Depa has speed up. Mace does not, but Mace is still, like, trying to take turns as you do. How the fuck do we get lapped that hard? And there's no, like, GI speed up or anything either. I'm mostly blanking on something. I don't know. That seems crazy to me. I mean, what quality are my Jedi Vanguard right now? Speaking for 54, 55, that's strong value. I mean, yes and no. For a certain way that we, like, I would like to start approaching 3v3, it kind of isn't, unless it's giving us certain reassurances. The problem is, it's a lot easier to make that trade in 5v5 because the banners that I pick back up elsewhere are pretty damn huge. The banners I pick up in 3v3 are less. Like, the majority of the time, we're just going to be getting... Like, if we're trying to hold them to a 57, we're, like, fishing for 58s. Which can still add up if we do it enough times, but it's still not quite the same. I'm telling you, dude, the more that I mess around with Bad Batch in 3v3, I think Turbo Crosshair... Like, the man... Turbo Crosshair accuracy arrow... The man just needs to dig himself out. Like, we don't need to worry about that much more. I can see Bird, which if you TM under Reaver lead. Yeah, but you saw the TM jump. Right? It's just like, it's what? It's 3% per, or 3% TM per purge, just like roughly 50% TM. Like, you saw the TM jump when it happened. That was like the correct amount. But how the fuck does a Depa with speed up get diffed on speed that hard? Speed up at almost equal TM. That's crazy to me. Shout out to durability, by the way. This mace would be dead, I think, if he was on average modding. I mean, it's just a scramble. Like, I don't. Does this work? Yeah, kind of. Is this a good idea? Fucking. I don't know if there's any way to make this not just be a complete shit show. Like, it's got a lot of good stuff going on. The GI lockdown's great. The revive block on 9th and Riva is so fucking good. On paper, a lot of aspects of this matchup are excellent. But god, dude. Like, I don't even know if trying to sauce up Temple Guard is probably realistic. What happens from here? Can we fight that? Can we beat that? It's a lot of like fuck. We were talking yesterday about like, oh yeah, maybe we're considering health sets to try to contest. No, we're taking more than 100% health damage here. I don't think it's health sets at all. Actually, we have defense down, and they have like a fuck ton of defense ignore, and I'm still thinking it's probably defense sets. This is bullshit. We're taking like 125% health here alone. What the fuck am I putting on health sets for? Are you out of your fucking mind? I don't know. It's just cursed. Like, the thing is, if you're facing a lot of percent health, if you can regen, having percent health, or having health in a percent health scenario isn't, like, necessarily disaster class tier. We have heal block on. I don't think we have any real access to regeneration. Like, fucking Temple Guard tries to regen with ability block, but I'm pretty sure they're ability block immune. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do there? Like, this is mechanically a solid counter. In a different meta, this would be like a insane find. I don't know that it's just noteworthy. It's fun. It's cool. I don't know if it's a good idea unless like this might hit your specific GAC and your meta a lot more. But for the shit that I'm aiming for, I don't think it's in the budget. It just depends on where you are in the game. The type of shit your opponents are doing. Alright, how are we modded? Is there an easy way that I can pull that up? Vaguely onto OBS at once. I'm not expecting great things. But just for my own information. 143 speed, could be faster, but doesn't explain the Reva diff at all. Could be better, could be 60%. I mean, fucking look at that protection, man. Tell me that Mace is gonna be alive if it's like offense primaries. You out of your damn mind. It's a better use of Spectre to put Ezra or the Ray with Jala DC and then use Ahsoka Tano as a solo specialist. I don't personally view that as value. I don't think this is a good meta to consolidate teams on. Seems like Maze has more durability jump scares than Depa does. Yeah, I mean, Depa could be like slightly faster, but broadly this is within normalish range that Depa or Reva hitting like a fucking plus 50% speed delta is like, what are you talking about? We had speed up to boot. I mean, she's got some regen. I don't think Mace does. We do need to start reading DC sets a little bit differently. Maybe we'll look at the DC from the screen. Set up. What else? Shielding holistically good, but not actually useful. 2% health steal when you crit is not all that useful. When Dark Side allies grants a buff to another ally, that other ally recovers 2% health protection. Could be very good for banner chasing, actually. Normally, I would prioritize that as not all that interesting, but could be Dark Horse here for the team that can spam it the most effectively. No real sustain on light side right now. Okay, not too much. Yeah, it's kind of the same shit here. Yeah, I mean, could they be made nicer? Sure. I'm in pseudo mode. You all can't see it. Get fucked. Yeah, they were like super average modes, in my opinion. Nothing like damning for the matchup. Studio mode, the blessing and the curse. I don't know, if Inquisitor Kron didn't exist, I think that match would be a lot comfier. Okay, this is just fucking bizarre. Like, it's 2 for 2. I don't even remember how the banner is finished. Is my CLS in health? Why is he just getting rocked for his entire protection? He should be on protection. Like, his health pool has just gone up to 60% health, plus slightly more true damage. Why? CLS could have swapped stances to at least try to get back to full health. This team isn't that insane at getting protection back, though. Unless you just have someone that you go really... Like, we're talking, like, CLS versus Padme back in the day, where you're just, like, constantly hitting C-3PO, protection regen, and have all the time in the world, then maybe. I would chalk that up to Mace as, like, if you're a mid-game or early late-game player, that could be, like, match-winning for you, but for me, I just don't know if that's actually, like, in the budget. I also think that if you're looking to be a Maz poster, like, Maz might just need OG Hondo just to try to, like, increase the mix-up pressure. OG Hondo is just an insane demand right now. It's kind of fucked. I mean, maybe Kixcron would block CLS, though. You would at least like to think so, right? KB Joe 2-piece is like... What does it even start to look like? I think it needs Turbo KB just to, like, really keep funneling power to Joe Costa. But then what? Like, that squad just desperately needs to figure out what it is setting out to do, or setting out to target. I mean, maybe it's just KB Joe +1, but the +1, unless it was like Temple Card, which we're trying to reserve for Mace, the +1 kind of actually just diminishes how much turbo your Joe Costa gets. Does DR need to go back on defense? And I assume this is gonna be pretty, but it's also about pretty and more about. I mean, Gungan 57, Bane 57. Not many players. Well, Gungan 57. I guess slightly average lower. I mean, if we traded out for a power scene, that's +3 banners. What are people usually using Gungan against me right now? Gungans versus Batch, whatever. Gungan cleanup SK, and then 4 Gungan fails. So Gungans don't really have a strong pull at the moment. And then back before when I was posting DR, that was kind of just it. Although, interestingly, not the best average. Although probably more because of this run. Yeah, it's pretty much just because of Zalbar FTC. Oh, Malgus solos. Not many people trying it, I guess. Captain Rex Zori? That's kind of cute. LSTM stun, like fairly standard. Not the most bulk on it, but that could be a value add. Oh, so let me crop this slightly. I mean, the fact that my defense blocks out Gungans is like a interesting thing to note. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean it's blocked out. It's more so just that nobody's currently using them and would like probably reflex to use it versus DR on site. I mean, DR BSF Malik was a thing back in the day. What if I look this up? Most people are gonna be using it on suboptimal mods. Yeah, we're fading back into yesteryear a bit. DR. The new team lost to the olds. Damn, unfortunate. Holy fuck, that's a violent fight. 30-second loss. I mean, the Bannerman's not bad here. The only problem is you would have to log into a matchup saying, yeah, I'm holding Malgus solo with DR BSF Malik on defense. That's like kind of unhinged. Even from a Bane perspective, that's like, all right, we're just Bane no Malik. I don't know if Bane necessarily requires Malik for anything right now, but it's the principle of the thing. You would have to be going for like a Finn hard read, which a lot of people are probably posting him right now. Finn is the 6th most popular defense lead right now. So like that as a read would be reasonable, but also if you start doing it consistently, people might just, if somebody happens to scout, that might just pull it. Then you just have a Malgus save for next run. Hmm. This, I don't know, like, you're starting from 58, you're very, very likely to go down to 57, and 56 seems incredibly likely too, that, like, you don't see better served just trying to go straight for the 57 with a 3-man. Like, your best case scenario is that Gas gets toppled and stands up, but it would have to be like a Gas topple with a lead chieftain left, otherwise your Fires is taking chip. Now, your Fires could try to just, like, tank it out, but that's a fucking hard ask. We're talking, like, super defense, super speed, super protection, and just trying to keep Banners at grace period, hoping that Warrior is not on big hit. This is the sort of thing where a 58 is, like, plausible on paper, but may not be practical. Like, here, it look like the dream looks plausible, but, like... Alright, topple. Let's see. Banners are fine so far. So, oh, no, the tenacity. Tenacity was what we were talking about. What if it's tenacity 5s? Tenacity defense protection, kind of just like a Marin build. The dots are a good amount of what chips him out. Okay, he does take a 5 hit by the end. I don't know, man. He takes a lot of over time damage too. If Gas had tenacity, he would be full protection. This would be a 57. Can we turn this into a 58? So we took 10% health damage. Looking at gas specifically. So for the dots are getting cleansed off passively. I don't think tenacity would like change much for Cass's situation. And like a faster fives could like try to cause a faster gas stand up to narrow the window. Past that, I'm not sure. Is there any sort of mobility? Like someone mentioned Snips, but she has absolutely zero bearing on protection regen. That's kind of adorable. Just Tarkin go for a big bomb, I guess. He's got the crit chance and crit damage to do it. Dark cycle, down cycle. Unfortunately, that sounds like it's going away in a week. I mean, Captain Rex I was vaguely thinking about, but I don't want to spend. Captain Rex pretty much rules out of 58. Yeah, I mean, whether or not it would be viable against a bigger squad. The Tarkin cook does sound funny. I might be better off with damage reflection 6 than long text. Right now I have Kicks on. I mean, a lot of squads are probably going to be happier with damage reduction than long text. It's just a practical reality of being a defense team. How? No Omicron, that's why. Wait, we tried Tarkin against Tuskens. That was fucking awful. I remember. Is it just not an Omicron team? No, it is. How the fuck did they win in 33 seconds? Is guaranteed crit defending them before they can get momentum off the ground, I guess. This is a matchup, or thing I'm fairly. This is a thing I'm fairly curious about doing in a variety of matchups. If we're just looking for ways to try to corner cut. Yeah, that makes sense. Kill trigger. I mean, could you even just solo Balin? The survey says perhaps. Because solo Balin, they couldn't bounce around Doubt, right? It would actually kind of counter Malgus's whole game plan in that respect. Just a hard no on that, huh? With 109% protection, he won. It's that easy. And 138% offense. The champ. The same guy did it twice. No Kron, whatever. Kron, loss. Loss with tank revive even. Seems like they're not dealing with nearly as much. Or is it because they're missing Omicrons? No, but this looks like 3. This looks like 2? So why is it just so cooked against Malik? Like, I assume it's something to do with Balin Fear, but... Is it some sort of chain reaction where you hit Malik, which causes you to cleanse yourself, which causes you to get feared, and it just creates like some sort of feedback loop? Maybe, I guess. It sounds like something to possibly play with. It's a bonded. 2022, I was probably streaming close to this time slot, huh? I mean, how often are we actually seeing Malgus? It's like fairly common. I mean, let's look at other Balin use cases. If they pick up on Malgus would be nice. What about... The problem is I don't want to exact it to Shing, because exact Merrick could be pretty decent right now. Banner Sword should roughly get us there. It's 8.5 versus Dredge. Yep. We should go back to more recent seasons, though. Defense Cron's my color these results slightly as well, for what that's worth. 59. The man without fear. Or the man with fear, but who is extremely chill and cool about it. I mean, there's a wrench of trash posters. Or, I meant to say trench. I said trash. That was not a bit, but I do feel like those are interchangeable. Whatever reason people think that a 200% crit chance crowd is worth posting. So, this would actually be good to consider. A lot of Sith-related stuff, unshockingly. I mean, like, Kara Scout trash. You see Waltz of the Blue Moon. 58 pickup solo. Azori, 2-piece. Seems like a 58, 57. Would be looking to preserve a... a bit of Smuggler Evasion card to boot. Yeah, definitely be gunning for a 58, but like, that would not suck. Yeah, there's just not many people trying undersize in general, which is not shocking. It's kind of why we're doing it. Well, it's not why we're doing it, but it helps. Possible pickup on Tuskens? Yeah, defense Chron is kind of the tool of the undersizer, especially if we're trying to preserve banners. Don't they potentially get a decent amount of momentum on the start, depending on your Fear RNG? Put one Mothma in their Saw Squad. What? You do that a year from now when the Andor Galactic Legend happens. How about that? Yeah, the banners take a significant hit here. Not too shocking. I mean, having coverage of 57 here would be nice. Yeah, this is all like targeting Ahsoka shit. What about just like a Yeah. Yep. No Ahsoka kill button. I don't know. I'll just simmer on the tenacity thing, but I don't think it's realistic for trying to get a 58. If Gas was taking a significant amount of dot damage, I would feel a little bit differently. Okay, this is actually annoying. So what the fuck is Bane supposed to do to not give up a banner? I can't think of many Sith who will actively just like regen back to full. Do we inshitify Bane to make him tax aside less? Even that won't do you much. I mean, Malik would get you +1 banner just for not losing his protection, I guess. You could like try to end it on a Malik drain just to get back to full health to try to 58. Is that actually the only option here? Svash can like try to regen tank a little bit. Damn, that feels kind of cooked. Maybe Bane Malik by sheer necessity. Oh, Grey Bot is undersized. Problem is, I know there's a fair amount of cross pollination in Kiss Energies between GM and Morgan, and I don't think Demo Load will undersize too terribly much. I mean, Great Mothers can throw some elbows, but not like in that way. Not unless it was extremely trash. I mean, I could see it, but against Nikron, probably not. Yeah, GM, I don't know if there's like too much wiggle room there. It would have to be like GM plus Spirit, and both of them built to be able to tank. It's just kind of awkward. We'll have to keep an eye out for it opportunistically, but like, I mean, to be honest, we're almost talking like a Saj lead Spirit back in the day, where it's just like turn 0, Spirit kills someone, and that's just good enough. Which has worked historically, but like not recently. At least it's not something I've tried recently. I mean, this 57 as advertised, but like, JML either needs to go on defense or needs to figure out an efficiency game plan fast. Problem is the data is going to be clouded for the last few seasons for JML Cron. That seems about within bounds. Alright, you fuck off. Made C solo sure, but C is used against a lot of stuff in my defense right now. We outlaw C. We outlaw Bane entirely. Wampa right now, sure. I assume this is with Wampacron. Yep. GM57. GM is also used in a lot of places right now. What is absolute threat about that though? There's a good amount of 57s being clocked in. Maybe not the best make and model of squad. But like if I do this, I don't imagine we're gonna see them many. There's decent amount of precedent for 57s against JML. I don't know if that feels like a happy pivot. Seer as well. That's of course. Naturally. Yeah, I think like 2-man offense would be more likely of an angle to go for him. I don't know if JML defense really. I mean, he probably holds the line, but I think he's better to have an offense probably still than filler duty. But yeah, we do need to optimize him beyond 57 if he's going to be there. Or at least I would like to hope so. I don't know if there's anything to really think about a review here. I think I ran the dark side protection region. Seems like it did well. Everyone still pretty good. Team generates a good amount of buffs. Yeah, just instant mo. Bad batch. This fight went nowhere until it ended almost instantly. And if that sounds weird, trust me, it was. We're 2 minutes into the fight and basically nothing has happened. Within 20 seconds, everybody was done. Sorry, 30. The question here is really just, can Krauser be built to become self-sufficient? We've seen it happen in the matchups in the past, but really it's a question of, can he do it without having to sacrifice like Omega in a 2v3? It's also a question of health or protection, or maybe you hedge. Depending on, I mean, where would we want? Fighting Queen, we want health. Fighting GM, we want health. Fighting... Ooh, where would we want protection right now? Even Inquisitors, we kind of ended up wanting health. Which feels crazy to say, but is true. I don't think we're necessarily fighting Jabba. Like, maybe fighting Joe Costa, her setting your health pool to 65 would feel shitty. That you would kind of prefer to be on protection. I do also think that's something that I need to explore more. It could just get across our online way sooner in some aspects and just have a mega tank. But without Wrecker passive, you really do miss some of that durability. Barris just did nothing there. I do think I played this overly cautious, but I was just trying to avoid a big gas one-shot moment. Okay, realistically, could this have just been KB Joe? Also, using Mass here, I think, was a misplay. Like, she flipped so fast anyway, I don't think it ended up really being necessary to spend this here. I think we were fine. Like, Barris almost immediately was just fighting for her own life and never really helped anyone else. KB Joe are just two very self-sufficient characters. I feel like that kind of has to be the target end spot. The team just needs to feed on itself. Yeah, like, this probably could have just been a 2v3, and if it was, like... Maybe would have been 57, although, again, it kind of depends on when you end with the masses, because you can reject your protection that way if you just play slightly better. I don't think we need to see the matchup, but, that was her on top. Alright. Yeah, I think that hits a lot of the broad beats for today. I was planning to do some 2x here, but honestly, it's 1 a.m. I'm tired of shit. I might just call it there. Not necessarily planning to do it at this time in the future. Been sitting too long as is. Yeah, cool. Alright. Position. A lot more, especially for the Java side. Holy shit. Good amount of initial stuff to work on. We'll see how next round goes. Thanks for hanging out.